Hey guys, it's Sam, in case you didn't notice. Today we're going to be talking about corrective eye surgery, more specifically PRK, which is probably something you've never heard of, but it's very similar to LASIK. Maybe like 3 months ago I got PRK, which you're probably like, what the f is PRK? So the difference between the two is LASIK is basically where they cut the flap into your eye and then they shoot laser beams into it, and then PRK is where they just take the whole top layer of the eye off. It takes longer to heal, but a lot of people like pro athletes and stuff get it in case, because if you get hit in the face or whatever, you don't have to worry about that flap getting torn open, which sounds probably as terrifying as it is. It takes longer for you to get that perfect vision, but you also don't have to deal with the flap. Your eye literally grows back, which is kind of insane if you think about it. Like, your freaking eyeball grows back. So like if you scratch your eye doing something stupid and then it's like, oh, it burns, and then like a couple hours later you're like, oh, it doesn't hurt anymore. Want to know why? Because your freaking eye grew back. Your eye grew back. So I went to this place, Bochner. I 100% recommend them. They're amazing. They did a great job. I trust them obviously with my vision, and they've done 3 people in my family's eyes. They're great. For me, it was like $48.60 because my mom had gone to them like 10 years ago, and my sister went to get LASIK from them a year before I did. So I got my surgery for $48.60, and then I think if you just kind of walked in or whatever, like if you didn't have any sort of like ties to that place, it's like $5,400. Other than school, it was the most expensive thing I've ever paid for, and it took me like forever to save up for it, but I don't regret it at all. It's like the highlight of my year was getting eye surgery, which maybe sounds sad, but it was like just a huge thing I did for myself. If you need to get the surgery again, like say when you're like 40 and you start noticing that like street signs aren't as clear or something, like they do the whole surgery again for you and it's free. Like they have your back for like the rest of your life. So yeah, so I went with PRK. Apparently it's better for people with dry eye, and that's where we're gonna probably start with this whole story. I never thought I was gonna be able to get PRK or surgery, like corrective eye surgery in general, because I had such severe dry eye that I couldn't even wear contacts. So I spoke with my optometrist and I was like, I just really want to get surgery like in the next year. Like that's like a huge goal for me in my life. I don't want to wear glasses anymore. I'm so sick of being trapped wearing glasses all the time. And then he was like, well, we have to make it so that you don't have super bad dry eye. So I wrote about this and I'll link to it below. So I actually got permanent plugs put in my tear ducts, which probably sounds terrifying, but I promise you it's not. It takes like 5 minutes, not even, to get it done. It's like boop, boop. And then your eyes are like way less dry. But of all the things I've tried, I really think that the plugs help me the most. And I'm still taking Restasis. So before, during, and after the surgery, I've been doing that. So then my eyes weren't as dry as they were before, and I booked a consultation, went in, they explained everything to me, like this is what PRK is, this is what LASIK is. I knew I probably wanted PRK, but I know PRK takes a lot longer to heal. So if you're planning on getting PRK, give yourself like at least a week. Like I give like 10 days. Like I had the surgery on the Friday and then I had the week off after, and then it was like I think the Monday I went back to work. Okay, so the day of surgery, bring somebody with you because you're not leaving that place by yourself. You're not gonna be able to see anything. Surgery, they check your eyes. The dude that's like doing the surgery sits down with you. They ask you like if you have any questions and all that kind of stuff. So you go into this room, you lay down, you're staring at this like light. So you're just staring at this freaking light the whole time because they need to obviously work on your eye and you can't be moving it. So they put a bunch of numbing drops in your eyes, and then they use those like crazy clamps that were in like the waiting room terrifying video, and it doesn't hurt though. Like nothing hurts because they put numbing drops in your eyes, and you're calm because if you were having a panic attack, they give you Valium, so you're like super chill. So you're laying down, you're staring at this light, numbing drops, clamps on your eyes. Sounds terrifying, not terrifying. And then they start like, for me, because I did PRK, it kind of looks like if someone had like a Thumbelina size like waxer, you know, like those buffing things that just like, it's just like going like this around your eye. And it's like a lot of pressure, but it doesn't hurt because you had numbing drops, and you're just like, this is weird. So you're just staring at the light, laser, it's just like, and then it's like done. Like literally that's it. And then they put the bandage lens on, I guess more drops or something, and then they cover that with like, I don't know, I think it's like a bandage. And then they do the other eye, and it's like literally the same, and it takes probably like freaking 2 minutes to do the entire thing. You get your bandage lenses on, you're done, they're like, hey, good job, and you're like, oh, that was it, and then you get up, and it's kind of weird because you can already see better. It's like, it wasn't perfectly clear, but I could see better than before, and I was like kind of tripping out about that. And then you go into the waiting room, and I got a coffee that I casually drank with my eyes closed, which I don't really recommend because it's kind of terrifying having hot coffee in your hand after taking Valium and then not being able to see anything. You have to like sit there for a while, and then they take you in this other room and they just make sure everything's in place, like the bandage lenses for me, and then that was it. So the next part is like recovery, which was the worst part for me. The freezing eye drops and numbing drops, because it feels like 1,000 tiny paper cuts in your eyes. Like, is the only way I can describe that, how it feels. And for me, because we were driving in like traffic, because it's like downtown Toronto, we're trying to get out of it to go to the boons, because I was like healing in the boons, and then I had to take the freezing eye drop like almost immediately after I was in that car, because my like eyes were watering like crazy. We were stuck in traffic, my nose was running, I was in so much pain. I was like, I can't do this, like I'm taking a damn eye drop. So I like popped some numbing eye drops, but then I couldn't take it later in the day, because the more you use numbing eye drops, the longer it takes to heal, and nobody wants to deal with that shit. It says 1 drop in the eye once before bedtime and once upon waking, first night only. Those first 3 days of healing were the most painful thing. Like, it was the most painful thing I've ever experienced in my life. And this is coming from someone who falls asleep when they get tattooed. So freezing eye drops are great, but you can't really use them. Different eye drops, it's like antibiotics, anti-inflammatories, and mild steroid. It's like 3 different eye drops, and then it breaks off. So it's like for 2 days you do the anti-inflammatory drops. So you're taking 3 drops 4 times a day. It's gonna sound ridiculous. And then after that, for like the first week, you're taking 2 different eye drops 4 times a day, and 3 minutes apart. And then you're taking this steroid drop for like a month, but it breaks down. Like the first week's 4 times a day, the next week's 3 times a day, next week's 2 times a day, next week's once a day. The first day was like whatever. I took like a sleeping pill because they give you stuff to help you sleep or whatever. And then I passed out, and then I remember waking up the next day and it was like kind of burning, like, cause like, especially because I couldn't take the numbing drops anymore. And I just remember being like, this kills. I remember the second and third day, it was so awful. I would wake up and my eyes would just tear, and I would just be awake, and it would just be like this aching pain, and you can't touch your eyes, like you can't rub your eyes or anything. So you're just kind of laying there, and I was just like listening to Mark Maron, just being like, oh my god, I'm in so much pain right now. It was so awful. Just try and sleep as much as possible, and if you are awake, just listen to funny podcasts, because you're going to be in so much pain. So then on the 4th day, I wake up, and I'm just like, it was like a switch where I just like noticed my eyes didn't hurt anymore. Going from like the worst pain ever and being like, this is never gonna end, and then just waking up being like, oh, everything's fine now. Like, it was weird. 3 days of pain honestly is to me worth a lifetime of not having to wear glasses. It's great. So yeah, and then I had bandage lenses on for the first 5 days. So like I got the surgery on the Friday, and then Wednesday, I think it was Wednesday, I went down and got the bandages off, but I still couldn't really see. Like everything was very, like my depth perception was off, because like this eye heals faster than this eye, and I wouldn't have been able to work because like I do video editing, so I need to be able to see like tiny little keyframes on screens, and I would not have been able to do that. So give yourself a week. Like I gave myself 10 days. And it is slower healing, but I'm so glad that I did it, because I don't have to deal with like a flap or anything. Like I know my eye grew back. I don't have a flap I have to worry about. If I get hit in the face with something, I don't have to worry about something tearing open. When you get eye surgery, you can't use like preservative eye drops that are like whatever, $10 or something. You can't use those anymore. You have to use preservative free, which is more expensive, like Bion tears. You can get them like for $20 for a box at Costco. But I like these better. They're called Hilo. They're so expensive though. This is $50 a bottle. I think I went through like 3 bottles in the first week. Like I was just popping them into my eyes the whole time. Because like you can't overuse these. Like I think with preservative, you can't use them more than a certain amount of times a day or something. But with preservative free, you can just constantly be putting them in your eye. Hopefully that answered your questions. I know this was a very long video, so thank you for waiting. If you want to do me a solid, give me a thumbs up or subscribe to me. That would be cool. And I hope you can hear my dog snoring in the background. Shout out to Goob. Yeah. Okay, bye.